I learned that darkness is not a thing. It's an absence of light. And cold is not a thing. It's an absence of heat. So maybe it's not the question of why is there evil in the world, but maybe it's the absence of good. So I asked the room, what's the absence of Marie, my mom? And I said, we don't get to find out because now it falls to us to do what she was doing. So if something's missing in the world, it falls to us to put it there. And that's when it clicked for me, is if the cavalry isn't coming, we have a job to do. What am I gonna do? What are you gonna do? We spread my mom's ashes here at this lighthouse. So when I come to talk to my mom, I talk to this beacon that warns of the promise of safe harbor and the perils of the rocks below. And with so many harms manifest, threats to our safety, our values, our ways of life, as the world is depending on that connected technology, they are depending on you. And boy, does the world need you now more than ever.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. So I'm fixing to show you something that's going to blow your mind. I'm going to prove to you that the concept of white hats and black hats was once only in the computer world. And somehow the alphabet agencies have now begun using it to psyop, red flag, misdirect both sides of the American population, both liberals and conservatives. Because I just saw this lady, her name is like Permaculture Rose, and she is a hard left. She thinks Donald Trump is fascist. He's the Antichrist. Anybody that voted for Donald Trump should never watch her on social media again. You guys can't be friends with her, yada, yada, yada. And the video she put up sounds almost identical to the one that I put up yesterday. So people on the left are being fed the same, there's white hats in behind the scenes that are going to save you from Donald Trump, the fascist, as the rights are being given the same story. There are white hats in the White House that are going to save you from Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Folks, somebody in our government is creating all of this and all the dissension between the two parties. So if you are somebody that truly believes that there are white hats hidden in the American military and the government and somehow they're going to save you, well, guess what? Your counterpart on the left believes the same stinking thing. So who's right? Are they coming to save the liberals, or are they coming to save the conservatives? Don't turn this off. You're going to want to find out what they
currently drawing comfort and hope from the conspiracy theories that are floating all over social media, from this belief that, like, secretly behind the scenes, people in power, good people in power, are working some magic. There's some secret investigation, and, you know, we're about to be rescued from this horrible timeline that we have been thrust into. I totally get the temptation to do that, right? Our distress is so high for a lot of us. And the more that unfolds about the upcoming administration's plans, the more horrifying it is. The more absolutely almost unbelievable it is that this is the reality we are now living in the United States of America. Totally understand that. Why we draw comfort and hope from thinking that, like, this can't be real. This can't be all there is. There has to be something else coming. And I will be the first person to eat my words, to grovel on hands and knees, begging forgiveness if I am wrong on this issue. But y'all, like, there's no white knight coming to rescue us. There's not. This is not the greatest sting operation in the history of America. Politicians are not going to magically fix the situation that they have all been complicit in creating. There is no rescue coming. There isn't. And the thing is, as I think continuing to believe that is a possibility is, you know, while in the moment it staves off the sense of doom and horror that all of this situation is bringing to us, it ultimately is not helpful for a number of reasons. Not the least of which is that it absolves us of having to do anything. Believing that a rescue is imminent means that we can sit back and let somebody else do the work. If everything is coming to the light and about to be revealed, and we're about to be rescued from the circumstances that we've been plunged into, then that absolves us of having to risk our own necks and wade in trying to fix this shit. If we can play a passive submissive role and say our rescuers are coming, then we don't have to get to work. We will just wait. We can just sit here and do nothing. And I'm not saying that it is necessarily like on the shoulders of everyday Americans and that somehow excuses those with money and power and political influence from doing fuck all so far. But it does mean that we somehow feel that we've given permission to ourselves to not have to do anything, to just sit idly by and we will get thrown a life preserver. And that's not happening. Again, I will be the first one to eat my words. I will be the first one to say, you guys, I was so wrong. I was wrong. I am gleeful. I am so grateful that I was wrong.
Sorry, guys. Her name is Park Rose Permaculture. Now, like I said, she's a hard left. And she's talking about how in her leftist circles, somebody's talking about white hats. And how these people are going to come and save all of them. So my question is, how can the white hats that are coming to save the conservatives and the children be the same white hats that are coming to save what? The transgenders and the socialists? How does that work? Can anybody explain that to me? Because I am telling you guys right now, this is all created from our government, because the terminology white hat, gray hat, black hat simply came from hackers who found back doors into companies, and white hats, when they found the back doors, would reach out to the company and say, hey, you have a security issue, it's right here, you need to fix it. They don't go in. Gray hats go in and dig around a little bit. They don't steal anything. And sometimes they acknowledge to the company where the issue is. But they're not technically thieves. Black hats go in and they're after your credit card information, your social security, your identity. So that is a terminology that came out, 15, 20 years ago, dealing with hackers and computer systems. But now all of a sudden we're seeing it being used for pseudo characters in real life, basically giving the American people permission to go back to sleep. I honestly believe it could very well all be connected to Mkultra and all of that. I think this is a long arm of that, folks. The white hat, the black hat, the gray hat, the storybook character that's coming out of nowhere to do what you and I, as American citizens, should be doing. Now, I'm a hard right. Park Rose Permaculture is a hard left. Yet she and I are saying the exact same thing. We have to stand up. We have to organize. We have to get our communities up and going if we want to save our country, our republic. See, there is a difference between her and I. She wants to save a democracy, which America is not, was never meant to be, and never should be even referred to as. I want to save the constitutional republic. I want my constitution in place. I want my children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, the neighbors' kids, your children, all to be able to get a quality education that does not include litter boxes or pronoun-preferring school teachers or liberals in the classroom screaming at kids because Donald Trump became president. I want these kids to learn how to read and write and plant a garden, not be indoctrinated and confused about their sexuality. There's the biggest difference between her and I. But one thing she and I agrees with, we have a serious problem in this country, and somebody has to fix it. And it's not going to be hidden people in the military or the government, folks. It's going to be you. Now, if you're a storybook loving character type person, then you've probably already unsubscribed and turned me off. If you're somebody that understands where I'm going with this and you would like to get our newsletter and learn how to organize in your community, how to take territory and occupy in the place that the Lord has given you, at the top of comments, I'm going to drop the different ways you can pay for the newsletter, and we will help get you grouped up in your regions around the United States, and we're going to start working on educating people how to become organizers and shakers in their community. I'm going to end with this lady's little bit of a clip. I love you guys. Please share this video to wake someone up. Wake them up. The white hat, black hat scenario is all a CIA, FBI, ATF, EPA, CDC, whatever one you want to pick, to PSYOP. I guarantee it.
Know that a lot of us are like trying to just, keep our heads down and keep our roof over our heads and our children fed and not get fired from our jobs. We don't want to stick our necks out, but we're going to have to stick our necks out. There is going to be a future in which we have to make a decision. And that future is right now to make a decision about what we're going to do in this country. For ourselves, for our children, for our neighbors, for democracy. Again, I don't know what that looks like